Welcome to the Get Fit Guys, quick and dirty tips to get moving and shape up. My name is Brock Armstrong, and I am the Get Fit Guy. Do you have weak forearms? Is your lack of forearm strength actually holding you back? Well, today I'm going to answer a listener's question and get to the bottom of this weakness. I received an email from a listener named Trish a few weeks ago, all about the importance of forearm strength. Trish said, I read somewhere that having weak forearms can limit your ability to build other muscles. This seems extreme. Is it true? And, other than not being able to build bigger biceps, why should I worry about my forearm strength? Thanks. All right, these are great questions, Trish, and I will tackle them in the order that they were asked. And then I'll give you some exercises that you can do to strengthen those puny wrists of yours. Let's start here. Your forearms are indeed used in many exercises that you might do at the gym. Exercises like pull-ups, rows, farmer carries, kettlebell swings, deadlifts, and bicep curls all involve a certain amount of forearm strength. And if you lack that forearm strength, your ability to build strength in other parts of your body is indeed compromised. This essentially is due to the fact that stronger forearms lead to a stronger grip, with more muscles generating the squeezing force during your workouts and during everyday life. When you have weak or underdeveloped forearms or wrists, those muscles may be the first group to tire out when you're doing something like pull-ups or rows. That means you'll never seriously tax the actual pulling muscles during the workout because, well, your forearms give out too quickly. We call that the weakest link in the kinetic chain. The term kinetic chain was first coined by orthopedic surgeon Art Steindler back in 1955. The concept of kinetic chain is described like this: individual joints and muscles working together as a group to perform any meaningful motion. Now, simplified, this means that when we're doing something like a pull-up, we're not only engaging the major muscles that you're targeting with the exercise, like your back and your triceps, but you are also including all the muscles involved in that kinetic chain that performs this movement. That includes your wrists, your hands, your forearms, biceps, teres minor, teres major, infraspinatus, pectoralis major, coracobrachialis, and so on. So, if you're doing that pull-up exercise and you have weak grip strength, your back may not be getting a decent workout because your hands, well, they fall behind before the other muscles even get challenged. Okay, got it? Good. Now, you may be wondering how your forearms got so weak in the first place. Well, let's start with this. How weak is weak? A 2017 study pointed out that prehistoric women's manual labor exceeded that of athletes through the first 5,500 years of farming in Central Europe. That study compared the bones of Central European women that lived during the first 6,000 years of farming to modern female athletes. And the study showed that the average prehistoric woman had stronger upper arms than even today's female rowing champions. Now, the researchers said that this forearm physical prowess was likely gained due to manual farming labor, such as tilling soil or harvesting crops or grinding up grain. Now, over 3 weeks during the trial, the researchers scanned the limb bones of the open and lightweight squads of the Cambridge University Women's Boat Club, who were training twice a day and rowing about 120 kilometers per week. The Neolithic women from 7,400 to 7,000 years ago, analyzed by the researchers, had arm bones that were 11 to 17% stronger for their size than the rowers, and almost 30% stronger than the non-rowing students. The Neolithic women were followed closely by the Bronze Age women, which ranged from 4,300 to 3,500 years ago, and they had 9 to 13% stronger arm bones than the rowers. So, once again, we see that by simply setting aside a few hours a week for exercise, in this case rowing, and then living an otherwise sedentary and cushy lifestyle, we don't hold a candle or an oar to our predecessors' fitness levels. Now, I know we aren't all planning to live like farming Neolithic women or grinding our own flour like our Bronze Age ancestors, but there are things that we do on a regular basis today that require strong forearms. Activities like opening jars, typing, using a trackpad or a computer mouse, washing dishes, wringing out wet laundry, turning doorknobs, using a vacuum, or even driving. These all require some forearm strength. Then there are the sports that we play, things like golf, tennis, football, basketball, baseball, and CrossFit. Even many of our favorite yoga poses demand some serious lower arm strength. Alright, before we get to my list of some great strengthening exercises, let's look at a few of the major muscles in the forearm and what they allow us to do. The first one is the flexor pollicis longus, and this muscle allows you to bend your thumb, basically. Then there's the flexor digitorum profundus. This muscle aids in bending your index, middle, ring, and pinky fingers. Then there's the flexor digitorum superficialis, which allows you to do things like use chopsticks, along with many other cool things. Then there's the flexor carpi ulnaris and radialis, and this allows you to wiggle your wrist back and forth. Then there's the brachioradialis, which allows you to do the ever so popular so-so motion with your hand. Then there's the palmaris longus, which allows you to wave goodbye to a child. And finally, there's the extensor pollicis brevis, which allows you to give a strong thumbs up. Okay, I've beat around the bush long enough. Let's get into how to build some forearm strength. Let's start with some things that you can do at home and around your neighborhood, and then we'll dive into some of the exercises that you could do at the gym if you're so inclined, starting with the farmer's carry or the farmer's walk. To do this one, you just find a weighted object like a sandbag, a kettlebell, a dumbbell, a barbell, cinder blocks, tires, or just about anything else around your house that you can carry in your hands, and simply pick that object up and start walking for as long as you can. When you get tired, set the object down, shake out your hands for a few seconds, then pick it back up and start walking again. Repeat this until you either get bored, tired, or both. Now the next exercise is one of my favorites, and it's just simple old pull-ups or chin-ups. Using various grip positions like front, overhand, neutral, sideways, reverse, or underhanded grip, do pull-ups, chin-ups, or simply some static hanging. Try using a thicker bar as well to make the activity more challenging. If the bar you have access to is thin, well, you can do something like wrap a towel around it to make it thicker, or drape a towel over the bar and do your hangs or pull-ups from the towel instead of the bar. Now, that's a good one. And my next exercise is pick up heavy objects. Sure, you can go to the gym and do deadlifts, but by simply practicing picking up heavy objects and holding them off the ground for a few seconds, you can build useful strength. For example, I was doing laundry the other day and we had a huge full bottle of detergent. Picking it up by the handle was challenging, but picking it up and holding it by the lid was even harder, and perhaps a little more daring. Plus, I could feel it working parts of my hand and my forearm that tend to get forgotten the majority of the time. This was an easy way to turn a household chore into a workout. Now, the next thing you can do is find a playground. More specifically, find some playground equipment and hang from or climb the swing set chains or support poles. Hang from the jungle gym or go hand over hand on the monkey bars. If you're lucky and the playground is super fancy, they may even have a small climbing wall. And you can do what rock climbers call bouldering. And that is an excellent way to build grip, hand, writing, and forearm strength. And the next thing you can do without a gym is simply work with your hands. Gardening, as was demonstrated by those Neolithic women, is a great way to not only strengthen your hands and your arms, but it's also a wonderful way to keep your body's full range of motion intact. Other activities like using shovels, rakes, chopping wood, sawing planks, hammering nails, or pulling weeds tend to lend themselves to strong forearms as well. And the final thing you can do without going to a gym is carrying heavy bags, and this is one that you probably don't even need to plan for. It'll likely just happen on its own. We've all been there. You're carrying a heavy load of groceries, and you can feel your grip strength starting to fail. So you pick up your walking pace and you barely make it to the doorstep before you drop the bags and shake out your hands. Now this, believe it or not, is an excellent way to work on your grip strength. So when you feel your grip strength starting to fail, challenge yourself to see how long you can hold on and try to extend your ability each time that happens. Now it's time to talk about some things you can do at the gym. There are tons of exercises that you can do with weights, resistance bands, barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, and so on at the gym, but these are 3 of my favorites. Number 1, pinch plate hold. Now, all you need to do is find a weight plate and pinch it between your fingers, and then let gravity do its job. You can also do this with a hexagonal dumbbell by using your fingers and your thumb to hold the dumbbell out in front of you. The goal is to not drop it. Now, number 2 is finger curl. So you're in a seated position and you hold the barbell with both hands, forearms on your thighs and palms facing up. Lower the bar as far as possible, allowing the bar to roll down your hands, and then catch the bar with the final joint in your fingers. Then curl the bar back up as high as possible while closing your hands. Then hold it for a second and repeat. And the 3rd exercise is called dumbbell reverse curl. In a standing position, hold a dumbbell in each hand, arms down by your sides, palms facing backwards behind you. Keep your elbows tucked into your sides and slowly curl the weights up above 90 degrees. Then lower the weights back down to the starting position and repeat. It's as simple as that. I like this one because it works your biceps at the same time as your forearms and your grip strength. Triple win! The forearm muscles are the muscles that help us grip everything from a grocery bag to a doorknob to a barbell, from a kettlebell to a child to an awkward piece of furniture that we have to move. Having forearm strength and grip strength means that you have the independence to pick things up and move them around. Plus, the stronger your grip, the more you can lift at the gym, and I can't be alone in my desire to have those bulging forearms like Popeye, can I? Well, I am what I am. Now, before I wrap up, I want to remind you that next week's episode is my 100th episode. And to celebrate that, we're having a sweepstakes where you could win a one-on-one virtual coaching session with me. And you can enter by going to bit.ly, that's bit.ly/GFG session. That's Get Fit Guy session, but GFG session. Put it all together, it's bit.ly/GFG session. And you can win a one-on-one call with me where we can talk about, well, pretty much anything you want to, as long as it pertains to your movement and fitness. It's going to be fun. Get Fit Guy is written, narrated, and produced by me, Brock Armstrong, with editorial support from Karen Hertzberg. Our audience development and marketing coordinator here at Quick and Dirty Tips is Morgan Ratner. Our digital ad operations coordinator is Michelle Margulis, and our digital assistant is Emily Miller, and our vice president and fearless leader is Kathy Doyle. If you enjoy this podcast, do me a favor and let somebody know about it. Just tell a friend or coworker or anybody like that, because word of mouth really is the best way to spread the word about things you love, and I'd be ever so grateful for your support. Now, what are you waiting for? Get out there and make those forearms strong.